Memories. Memories.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven.
No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through! It's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nabla immediately goes back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CGL, where we have an incredible matchup tonight of 2 4-1 teams going up against each other. But this is not the first time they've gone up against each other this season. They met in the mid-season tournament where Nightmare Rotation was able to beat them 3-0 here. Impact looking to bounce back, though, tonight.
Yeah, they definitely are. You know, they want to get their get back after that defeat in the mid-season tournament. I mean, what better time than in week 6 here today, you know, try and beat the team that just took you down not too long ago in the midseason tournament. And both of these teams did lose to the same team, I believe. It was the Bobcats. I can never remember those first 3 letters. I think it's BSC.
BSC, yep, the BSC Bobcats, which a lot of people really do consider to be probably the favorite going deeper into the season, especially into playoffs here, was not a part of the midseason tournament because I believe they were playing in the Overwatch Homecoming tournament that weekend as well here. But you talked about both these teams both lost to BSC Bobcats in a 3-0 sweep, but ever since then, these teams have not dropped a regular season map, both 12-0 since that point.
No, both teams really dominant so far. So that's why it was so surprising in the midseason tournament to see Nightmare Rotation beat Impact in the way that they did. So I'm hopeful tonight that we get a much closer match in that regard, just due to, you know, both of these teams you would think are towards the top of the tier, just based on, you know, map record so far.
Yeah, and especially with Nightmare Rotation winning the midseason playoffs here, and basically a win tonight, I think locks them into the playoffs no matter what. This is definitely a bigger match here for Impact, not only to try to get a little bit of revenge, but to try to see how much they've improved in about the week and a half since they actually went up against Nightmare Rotation in those midseason playoffs here. But, I mean, everyone knows how Nightmare Rotation is. They play Overwatch a certain way that no one else does, always making them a difficult opponent to go up against.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Nightmare Rotation just does the craziest, most wild comps every single map, playing all the crazy heroes that you just wouldn't expect to see at this point, honestly, just based on what we've seen from everybody else. But with that being said, we can go on ahead and start to see some of the players that are going to be playing tonight, starting with this Impact roster. And what we're going to have is Promise and Nadokado on that DPS line. We got Eevee on the tank with Juzo and Snotty Finger on that support line. I definitely like some of these names. They're pretty silly.
Yeah, they're pretty silly, but their silliness does hide how scary some of these players are. Eevee has been around CGL for a while, so we know how good of a player they are. But Promise and Nadokado have to be two you have to especially watch out for, have the ability to take over a series at will here.
Absolutely, and they're gonna need to tonight, just having to go up against this Nightmare Rotation squad, which, speaking of them, they are here tonight as well. And And there we go. We got Fish Tank and Play 2 on that DPS line. Dirt's going to be on tank with Lefty and Chosen playing that support role tonight, at least for map 1. What we've seen a lot so far is Dirt likes to come in for that first map, play some Roadhog, have some Roadhog shenanigans, and then Matt Merck will come in and play every other tank. I feel like that last time they had a challenge to play every single tank on the roster. So I feel like Matt Merck is just like, I'm not doing Hog. Dirt comes in, does Hog, and then I'll play every other tank on the next 2 maps. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but even with how some of these players play and the heroes that they mostly come out on here, they are still incredibly scary players in their own way. Fish Tank is an incredible Junkrat, Dirt an incredible Hog, Lefty and Chosen. While not necessarily a lineup that we've seen start for them, normally it's been them and Harmony or Chosen and Harmony on that support line. I have to imagine that Lefty is still an incredible support coming in here, and they're probably going to show it to us here in this first map.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It should be a pretty good performance from both sides, honestly. And but with that being said, also we do have a map pool this week, so we already know that map 1 is going to be Busan. And what I'm curious about is what in the world is Dirt going to do on Roadhog on Busan? Like, of all the maps, that feels like, well, I suppose you can make it work on most of the maps just due to the fact that you have to kind of be confined to the point on control, generally speaking. But I feel like it's going to be difficult to do Hog on downtown.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like every time we have casted Nightmare Rotation, we always talk about Dirt on this Roadhog and say, like, it's going to be difficult for them to really do anything. But then they come out and do everything you want them to do and more. It's not up to seeing, does Dirt kind of fall apart? It's up to seeing, can the other team really affect Dirt and how they play here? And I think that's what Impact has to do here. I mean, we talked about, they got swept by Nightmare Rotation in the mid-season tournament, and they really are looking to probably improve on that performance there, because I don't remember if it was streamed or not, but again, a 3-0 sweep kind of does tell you how that series went.
Yeah, the maps were relatively close. Hollywood was a 1-0 sweep. We've seen Nightmare Rotation knows how to play Hollywood, though. I'm fairly certain they played Hollywood last week, and it was just an absolute destruction. Like, Nightmare Rotation seems to just really like Hollywood. But the other 2 maps that they played Impact in were both close maps. Like, the Control was a 2-1, and the Clash was a 5-3. So it seemed like, they kind of just won that first map and then traded points back and forth until Nightmare Rotation eventually won. So it could be closer tonight. A fight here, a fight there. You could definitely see this going in Impact's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. But the biggest thing is, again, just the dominance of these 2 teams outside of their one match against BSC Bobcats. It really tells you how good they are. 12 maps up, 12 maps down, all wins for both these sides. Again, only slipping up against BSC Bobcats for Nightmare Rotation. It was in week 4, I believe, for Impact. I think it was week 1 or 2. So they've probably improved a lot, and on top of how good they already are here. But there's gonna be a change tonight where you definitely do see one of these teams pick up more than one map loss here and really have to try to make sure they try to win the series as well.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to do something. We are seeing Impact opt for this Orisa, which I do really like. Generally speaking, I think it's a good pick into the Hog. I almost feel like you want to have Lotus run Ana instead of the Juno, but I guess we'll see how that goes here shortly.
Yeah, that's always an easy way to try to counter out the Hog on the other side. But, I mean, look at what Chosen's playing here. They're playing the Zen, and this has been a pick that we've seen them play a lot more recently here. And Promise immediately going to be hooked into the trap right there and taken off this plane of existence now. You see Dirt immediately focus here on Eevee. Both supports are trying to do what they can into them. Fortify going to have to come out from Eevee to keep themselves alive here, triggering that trap. But Nightmare going to be able to cap the point here first.
Yeah, I mean, just complete point control and dominance from the side of Dirt in particular. Chosen with these Discord orbs is just crazy, and just look at that hook.
Oh, yeah, Eevee though will find Fish Tank, but Promise starting to really hate those pig pens here at the moment. Chosen going to be able to shut down Snotty Finger as well. They're trying to get rid of Chosen up on that high ground, but not going to be able to as Dirt takes care of Eevee, sending Impact right back to the spot.
I mean, shout out Chosen and Fiddlesticks right now. They're just like almost impenetrable in that back line, which you wouldn't expect from a Zen and a Juno. You would think those would be pretty easy heroes to try and deal with, but Promise is just getting dealt with so handily by Dirt every single time they try and engage. They're just not able to make it to the back line of a Nightmare rotation, so they're going to have to do something about that. They really want to have some impact here.
I mean, that's why you see them make this Tracer swap. They want to be able to live a little bit longer than being hooked right in, but Eevee immediately making the swap over to the ball, going to be able to pile drive Chosen into the ground. Now focusing here on Play2, going to be able to bowl them away here, but they're losing some of their DPS in that backline. Eevee going to be able to get that large health pack right there, but still, Impact, I mean, you could try to play for point here, but I love how Dirt is playing this. They are basically just standing on point, and there's the Ana coming out from Snotty Finger. Dirt almost gets taken out there, but now you see that Orbital Ray come out from Fiddlesticks. Play2 going to be able to find Lotus, does have the visor ready to go here, but really no one noticing them on this high ground. Eevee could have been able to take him out right there, but instead they just roll away to fall back, and Shadow, we're looking at potential final fight here for Impact.
It is not looking too good for Impact so far. They're going to have to probably just pop all of these ultimates and just hope that they don't die to Play2's visor or something like that happens, you know?
Well, you do get the Orbital Ray out, but how much value are you going to get from it here? You do see Natokato be able to find two, but there still has to be a touch. Enough time, though, to get that touch. Fish Tank does find Eevee, but it looks like Nightmare Rotation might have to give up this first point right here. Tire coming out from Fish Tank, looking to find anyone they can. They had their sights set on the Promise, but Natokato going to be able to find them right there. Point, though, still in control here by Rotation, as Impact is trying to do whatever they can now. Chosen popping the Transcend here to keep themselves alive, but they really need some help from the rest of their team to keep themselves up here. But it looks like Impact going to be able to flip the point here, if only for a moment, as you do see the whole hog come out from Dirt, who's immediately put to sleep by Snotty Finger, woke up. Natokato, again, coming alive here on this Sojourn, going to be able to find Chosen here, and Nightmare Rotation is already committing themselves into this fight, win or lose. Hook coming out there from Dirt, a rare miss from them, but Eevee has to keep themselves up. A huge anti-nade there onto the hog, will send them back to the spawn, and Impact, one more kill here, and you should just be cleaning up.
I mean, yeah, great fight win for the side of Impact. You love to see them just laying this pressure down. I think this ball swap was actually really smart. It's like, what do you do to combat chaos? You also play chaos, you know? Just try and do more chaotic things than what the other side is doing. And then I like the Ana Illari pick as well for the support line, because now it's like, not only can you anti the Hog of Dirt, you can also just shoot him in the head over and over again with this Illari and do massive damage. Like, I think this is actually a really smart attempt at a counter comp at least, but you gotta watch out for this Orbital Ray.
Pile drop coming in there from Eevee, but you do lose Snotty Finger, so no anti coming out here onto Dirt. Impact has to play smart here. They cannot lose another one early on, especially someone like Lotus, who has that Captive Sun almost online here. But if you're Nightmare Rotation, the only thing you have is this Orbital Ray, and you do have the visor coming up here, but Fish Tank, they have been a constant nuisance here to Eevee. Find them out yet again. Nightmare going to be able to flip the point here, and now Impact, it's their goal just to find a touch. Orbital Ray out, and no one from Impact even tries to contest right there. Nightmare Rotation taking our first point.
That was just a really, really good pick from the side of Nightmare Rotation. As soon as they dropped the Ana from the side of Impact early into that fight, that was pretty much the go sign. Dirt doesn't have to play like so passive anymore, because the only threat to actually killing Dirt was taken out of the picture in Snotty Finger. So it was just incredibly easy for Nightmare Rotation to just walk in and just do whatever they really wanted to with the point there to finish off the map.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Dirt was such a big focus for Impact that first point. You saw Play2 and Fish Tank really just start to open up fights on their own. Fish Tank was always finding out Eevee. Play2 was always just finding out one of the DPS. It always seemed here. But look at what Play2 is doing here on this point.
Yeah, you love the Bastion coming out, you know, the classic. I always say I think it's going to be tough for them to play it, because, you know, it typically is, but they always seem to find a way to play their heroes somehow.
I mean, they're always going to try. Eevee, though, maybe pushing a little bit too far up there. Nice anti there onto Dirt, and put to sleep, both literally, metaphorically, and then literally again. Fish Tank, though, finds Promise. Natokato, they're always good for one every fight, but Fiddlestick's going to find them right back. Nightmare, though, they do have the numbers advantage here, but I don't necessarily know if they're going to try to go for a point. Looks like Fish Tank, though, is going to be able to do just that. It looks like they're going to be able to cap it as well.
It does look like it's going to go the way of Nightmare Rotation. Oh, no, maybe not. No cap just yet. Smart play from Impact to stop them from capping. Oh,
Nightmare Rotation still able to get the cap right there. You see Eevee going far in here. turret out here from Play-Doh, and you see Eevee immediately melt Dirt, getting the kill yet again on them. Grenade out from Play-Doh, who needs immediately just back up to keep themselves alive by their supports. But just, I love how Nightmare's playing this. Impact loses Eevee again here early. Fish Tank gonna be able to find Nadokado on their way out. The hook just a little bit out of reach there, is Snotty Finger. But again, Nightmare rotation kind of picking up right where they left off last point with a nice couple early team fight wins, and Fish Tank again. Oh my goodness.
That had to be max range. There's no way that wasn't max range. That was crazy far. Oh my god, Dirt, that is ridiculous.
I mean, you get someone who knows how to play Roadhog. They know the range and they know who they're going for there. I love the target selection there from Dirt. Fish Tank, again, like I said, they're always good for one at the start of fights here, and that's exactly what they do. You do notice that Impact recognizes where they are, so they are having to play in a couple of angles that they have to kind of stick to here. But Fish Tank, though, they know where the rest of Impact is.
Yeah, they're just sitting there spamming. Maybe they'll hit a couple of grenades, get one of those early picks again. That Riptire is going to be incoming here in like 10 seconds or so. There we go.
Maybe 1 second. Riptire out. You do see the Orbital Ray come out from Lotus, but Fish Tank immediately gets shut down Promise. You see the Orbital Ray here. Nadokado trying to find anyone that can. Does land a shot there on to Fiddlesticks. Not going to be able to take care of them. Play-Doh, Fish Tank, going to be able to find 3 here early on, and Nadokado just going to decide to jump and go for a little bit of a swim.
Yeah, probably the smart thing to do there. You know, just don't give up any ult charge, as they always say. But now, side of Impact, you do have Nano, you got Overclock, you got this Terra Surge online, but Nightmare Rotation's got Orbital Ray and Captive Sun as well as Whole Hog. Like, I have a hard time believing Nightmare Rotation lets them make it into this fight.
Well, Nadokado will find Fish Tank. There comes the Captive Sun. Oh, we're going to be able to get rid of Lotus. Eevee out as well as Play-Doh with 2 early on. And the Whole Hog sending Nadokado for another swim right there. The hook to seal the deal here as Nightmare Rotation, after a little bit of a struggle towards the end of that first point, comes right back on Mecha Base with a dominant 100-0.
Oh, absolutely dominant 100-0. Like I said, they had the better ults going into at least that last fight. And generally speaking, like you said, Play-2 or Fish or Dirt, just one of the 3 always seem to be catching somebody super early and making it a quick 5v4 in the favor of Nightmare. And it's tough to win a fight if you're just always down a player.
Yeah, and it really comes down to where they were firing them and when they were firing them. They were firing them very early on as they were coming through chokes, not allowing Impact to really build up to a team fight. And especially there on Mecha Base, we saw Eevee play a little bit too far ahead or try to not focus on Dirt, and that's what really hurt them at that initial fight. They tried to focus on the backline, but Dirt was standing right next to them, just able to pump in so much damage. Yeah, Dirt ended up losing their life here, but I guess we can see very early on here that if both tanks are out of the fight, I would have to give the advantage over to Nightmare Rotation's DPS just because of how frequently they're able to find not one, but multiple kills every engagement.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's the fact that, like, we're seeing just there was quite a few times we were seeing the POV of the Impact players, and you just see that little mine fly around the corner from the Junkrat, and then you're just dead because you also got hit with a railgun or a Helix rocket or the Bastion grenade. It's all coming through at the exact same moment. And so that's what's really always impressive to me about Nightmare Rotation is their target focus as a team is really, really good. It's not particularly like one person is just popping off and making like a sick play. It's like they're all just focusing together so well, and that's always the sign of a really good team.
Yeah, and one core that we haven't talked about for Nightmare Rotation here was that support line of Chosen Fiddlesticks. I mean, we didn't talk about them a lot here in that first map, but I always say if you're not talking about the supports, you know they're doing a great job because their DPS and their tank were popping off. We do know what our second map is. Hell, like we kind of said already, we do know what all 5 maps will be. If we do need a 6th, we'll figure that out. But Eichenwald or Adlersburn or Aldersburn is going to be the second map of the night. I mean, Shadow, Halloween's just around the corner, man. What are you going as?
I'm going as a broke person because that is what you know what, that's not even a costume. That's just my life at this point, I guess. You know, I don't have a good costume idea for Halloween, I gotta be honest with you. But I do really like this map, and I also just noticed that Dirt's still in, so we're seeing more Hog. I'm really excited about that because I don't think I've seen Dirt in for map number 2 yet when I've actually casted Nightmare Rotation.
Yeah, this is a rare thing because Nightmare Rotation is a very deep team and a very good team. Normally we see them make 1 or 2 subs in between every map, but they want to stick with this core squad here, at least for the second map as well. And I mean, I don't blame them. That first map was incredible by everyone. Why not run it back?
Yeah, I mean, you may as well at this point. You know, it's probably a smart play here. They're all having a campfire. Whose emote is that, Junkrat? I've never seen that before. He literally just pulls out a whole campfire. I love that.
But, I mean, really no big shocks here for either side. Now Ricardo going over to the Cassie. I think that's going to find them a little bit more value here. But, again, Nightmare Rotation, it doesn't necessarily matter who you take out first. You still have to deal with 2 other incredibly scary players.
No, absolutely. There you go, Fish Tank getting that early pick again. There's a second one. You get dirt, but at what cost, you know?
Yeah, you get dirt at the cost of your supports and your DPS, and now you're the only person left alive. They will take out Fiddlesticks, but it's really not going to matter, as Nightmare Rotation looks like they're going to be able to get a 40-second cap here onto the first point.
Yeah, no, that was just complete dominance. Eevee got that solid focus in on dirt early, but again, their entire team basically died in the amount of time it took them to just run down this Roadhog. And also Malga coming in now, so not Hog.
That's not Hog. I mean, we have seen Dirt in the past pull out the Malga at certain points, but I would always kind of call them last-ditch effort points here, but this is not that. Instead, they want to be able to, you know, play aggressively into that high ground here, but they have to start running away because they are affected by that bio nade. Now Ricardo going to be able to find Chosen and Dirt as well. So, I mean, like I said, Impact has had points this series where they've been able to win a couple team fights. They're going to be able to win one here, but they still have to get rid of 2 incredibly scary DPS. There's one. And the other is on top of the castle at the moment.
Oh, that's a scary proposition to try and go get this Junkrat. Oh wait, you might be able to get them. No. Fish Tank gets away with that.
And Dirt playing very aggressively here. Gonna have to pop that cardiac overdrive to try to keep themselves alive, but Narukato again finding them out. Fish Tank again just not necessarily able to keep Dirt alive there, and even with the Terror Surge coming out there from Eevee, probably a little bit of an overinvestment by them, but Nightmare Rotation are kind of stuck here at the moment.
They're having some difficulties just being able to cross right now without losing somebody, which is usually the way it goes for the side of Impact. And yeah, it's just Dirt just getting shot so much, but there it is. It finally goes the way of Nightmare Rotation.
And hey, it's Fiddlesticks finding 2, Play2 finding 2 as well. We needed someone to open something up, and those supports that we didn't talk a lot about that first map, getting a great start here. Oh, Fiddlesticks gonna be able to find a third there on the Lotus, but look how far up Nightmare Rotation is playing here. Knight, though, Dirt gonna be put to sleep, again, literally and metaphorically there, and Nicole Lessons coming out here from Fiddlesticks. I mean, Nightmare Rotation has been able to push the cart a little bit, but you're playing almost in Impact's hands here at the moment.
Oh, and now you got this happening. Promise again. Promise has got to be tired of this.
Yeah, I would imagine they very much are. The grenade jump coming out there from Pleader. You do say Lotus use that orbital ray right there to try to get everyone off the card here for Nightmare Rotation. Captain Sun and the cage fight coming out. Somehow, some way, Nightmare thinks they're still very much in this fight. Fiddlesticks finds a third one right there. The blade coming out from Promise, looking for anything they can. You're slicing themselves at Dirt, going to be able to take care of the Samoan, but now you're very much on your own here, but you are going to have to deal with the supports, but one of them being a Moira means you're really not safe. Chosen, though, going to be able to punch Promise back to the spawn. Play2 does come back in for a moment, but Chosen, again, with the second one. However, Point B in their control. Impact slowly going to start being staggered back towards their spawn.
I mean, great fight win there from the side of Rotation. It didn't look like it was going to go their way for a moment, but then, like you said, the cage comes out, the Captain Sun comes out, the Moira can't really miss because, you know, you don't have to aim with the characters, so it's really strong performance. Plato about to have this ultimate on the Bastion, but not really much else coming up here soon. Except, oh, Coalescence.
Dirt charging back. Fiddlesticks built up that Coalescence incredibly fast. Remember when they used it last time? Play2 though, going to be the first one taken out here by a whole host of everyone from Impact. Dirt trying to do their best. You see a lot of members of Impact here very low on health, but their supports and where they're positioned are just smart here at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's about how that was gonna go. As soon as that stomp came through, there wasn't too much that could be done. But Fish Tank going down could prove fatal. We'll have to see.
Captain Sun, though, coming out from Chosen. The Deadeye from Nadokado, not going to be able to find anyone, but they do find Chosen after the fact. However, Dirt going to be able to put one bullet through their own skull right there. Fiddlesticks, the Coalescence, going to be able to find Lotus now. You see Promise here on the far, trying to do what they can. Eevee going to be able to find Fiddlesticks now, axing themselves onto Dirt. Looks like they're going to be able to force Dirt and the rest of Nightmare Rotation to back up, even as Play-Doh does find the Dynamite kill there. Oh,
Nice.
Nice. Man had to play Call of Duty growing up, but Dirt going to be able to charge him right back into the earth here. Nadokado, again, finding Fish Tank out. Chosen, they're going to be able to trade that one back out. Dirt just doing so much damage. Another cage coming out here as Chosen gets 3, looking for a 4th here, and they're going to be able to get it as Nightmare Rotation completes the map with a very, very healthy time bank of 250.
At 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and Impact did win a couple of fights there, so it could have been worse, even though 250 is a crazy time bank to have. And Nightmare Rotation just continuing to make these various hero swaps, like seeing Play-2 opt for the Ashe here. You know, I love the Ashe, of course, but Fish Tank still just getting immense value on this Junkrat, consistently just getting pick after pick after pick. And I mean, honestly, for the side of Impact, I feel like Promise is just getting caught out a lot with that junk tire in particular. It's got to be a horrible feeling, just constantly getting solo tired.
I mean, there's probably at points this series where Promise has just felt like they've been like singled out, being bullied here a little bit, because I believe it was the first point where they were the first one to die in 2 consecutive or 3 consecutive fights. But again, you don't see Junkrats a lot. You're starting to see a little bit more, but Fish Tank is a different breed of Junkrat player here. They are incredible being able to aim those mines. They always find value with the tires, and hell, even the mine jumps and everything that come from it are on point here. But Dirt, big thing here, sticking on to the Mauga here to start. What do you think about that?
I think, you know, I always have to throw out my normal analysis out the window when it comes to Dirt, because they seem to just be able to do whatever they want to and make it work. So I'm not too sure. Like, it seems like it should have a hard time going into this Orisa, but then we'll see Dirt get like a 4K in this first fight somehow on the Mauga. So I don't quite get it.
Fiddlesticks, though, going to be able to find Nadokado, and I mean, you see Eevee fortifying up, but again, the dual chain guns just are able to do so much damage, especially with Fish Tank as well, just being able to put in a lot of grenades as well. Play-Doh in a good angle right here, going to be able to just shoot down this corridor, and I mean, Nightmare Rotation's going to have to back up here, but they got everything they want out of that first fight.
No, absolutely. All you're really trying to do is get ult charge and just prolong until you build your ults at this point. Just try not to die. And they're doing a good job of that, not dying to this Pharah. Like, look at that instant just almost kill on the Promise.
The healing pylon, though, taken out there by Eevee. So, I mean, if I was Impact, I would go in on that a little bit, because that does do a decent amount of healing, but they're going to play it slow here. Another nice dynamite there by Play-Doh, who has to immediately fall back because they are very low on health. Fish Tank might have almost been the first mistake right there, but able to keep themselves alive. Dirt, though, finding Nadokado, who had always been a consistent first pick finder last round for them, but Promise going to be able to come right back and find Dirt. So, Impact, I mean, Mauga's out of this fight, but you have to make sure you keep Eevee up. Fiddlesticks will find Lotus. Eevee taken out as well, so the advantage they had is gone, and the Invisible Coalescence going to be able to find one, looking for a second.
Oh, that's a tough fight to lose if you're the side of the Impact. You had that advantage with Lotus having that ultimate online first, but you just weren't able to really capitalize on it. And now you're looking at a much more even fight where both sides really have ults available. And I mean, look at Fiddlesticks just out here in the back line on this Moira.
Yeah, they got punished there. They deserve that. The Bob coming out only going to slow down Impact here for a moment, but now Play-Doh going to be taken out. Captain Sun being invested, going to be able to find one. Going to be able to confirm the kill onto it as Snotty Finger falls as well. And oh, you do not want to be in a small room with this big Samoan man right here. And Nadokado learning that right there, but I mean, if you're Impact, you got 2 ticks and on your way to a 3rd, but you still have to deal with a lot of members of Nightmare Rotation. Orbital Ray out. Lotus going to be able to find Fish Tank, but this might not have been the smartest play here by Dirt, because that's a lot of damage in a very, very small area. Chosen taken out as well, and I mean, a couple of, you know, slight mistakes by Nightmare Rotation will lead to a first point cap here for Impact.
I mean, just the slightest bit of overconfidence from Nightmare Rotation, it seemed like there in a couple of moments. Nice kill again there from Eevee taking down Fiddlesticks on that Moira. But That's gonna happen every so often when you're Nightmare rotation. You take the good with the bad. You make the good plays sometimes when you go into the back line that hard on Moira, and then sometimes you just die. But now here comes Riptire. Doesn't get anybody though.
No, it did get Nanokado very low, but I mean, this fight's basically almost over here, losing Promise, Lotus, and now Nanokado falling as well. Eevee just trying to back themselves out, maybe try to find Fiddlesticks on their way out, but not going to be able to do that there as Fiddlesticks finds them instead. And now Nightmare Rotation can get set up here on this high ground if they want.
You know, I'm not. I'm not the hugest fan of Malga's kit just as a whole, but I do love the pin right there. Being able to pin through the Orisa spinny spear and still managing to get the kill, like, it's really cool, that interaction, how you can just go in deep like that. But look at what's happening right now. What is this?
And this is a team that feels very confident in itself. Dirt will fall to the barrage right there, but Fiddlesticks will be able to trade that right back out. Terror Surge coming out from Eevee, not going to find anyone, but they will find themselves back in the spawn. Same thing for Fiddlesticks as Play2 tries to get rid of Lotus flying around. They have to run away here for a brief moment, but Impact should be able to get something going here, considering how split up Nightmare Rotation is at the moment.
You would think that this should be a positive for the side of Impact, but there's still tons of point pressure happening right now, and Play2 is still in first point spawn, so this could be tough to deal with on the Soldier.
Another Captain Sun coming out here from Chosen will find Lotus, and looks like they're going to be able to find Eevee here in a moment. Deadeye, though, going to be able to shut down the Illari. Nanokado just trying to dodge those grenades, but you can only dodge them for so long in that tight corridor. One trap destroyed, the other one triggered right there, but Snotty Finger going to be able to come out top on that one with the final laugh. However, you still have to deal with the other boss here of Dirt, Fiddlesticks, so popping that Coalescence in the back line. The Orbital Ray coming out here from Lotus, trying to do whatever they can here, but it's going the opposite direction of where you would really like it to be going, allowing Nightmare Rotation to basically just hold the quarter right here.
And they're still alive. They're still out here. Play2 does go down, but you've got the cage fight now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that get popped here too. Nightmare Rotation seems hell-bent on keeping Impact from getting past this gate right now.
I mean, hey, it's a good thing to do. Cage coming out again, but I mean, much like last time, Dirt in a very bad spot, but all the healing going towards them. Fish Tank going to be able to find one, but Dirt eventually falls as well. Fish Tank, though, with the second one. Snotty Finger going to be able to shut them down, but that doesn't stop Nightmare Rotation at all from still thinking this is a very winnable fight. Terror Surge coming out with a visor from Play2, going to be able to find one, but the Terror Surge going to be able to shut them right down. However, you have Fiddlesticks right here alive. We did not talk about them a lot the first map, but they are making sure we talk about them the second one.
No, absolutely great plays. And is Dirt just going in again? Okay, we're still here, Nightmare Rotation, I guess.
I mean, but like, here's the thing. This is a great play by them because they had a large time bank going into the second point, but now there's 50 seconds. The tire coming out here from Fish Tank. Nanokado probably knows where it is, but you might know where it is. It doesn't matter. It'll still find you in the end. 40 seconds now for Impact. They really need to start thinking about how they're going to break through this choke again. Here comes another Orbital Ray from Lotus, who's been building these things up incredibly fast. But the Captain Sun from Chosen finds the value there early on. Fish Tank with two, looking for a third here for Chosen. Having to hide around a corner here for a moment, but it doesn't matter. The DPS flying for this Nightmare Rotation squad is just scary no matter what.
I mean, yeah, it's like you said, everyone on Nightmare Rotation is just dominant, just doing whatever they want to at pretty much all times right now. And now we're down to 10 seconds. Is Impact going to be able to touch? They've been having a hard time even walking out this gate, let alone making it to where the card is right now.
I mean, Lotus not going to be able to touch because their leg was chopped off right there, but Eevee going to be able to do it, fortifying themselves up. The Blade coming out here from Promise as they look for anything but Chosen, going to be able to land one shot there, and Eevee getting the headshot there onto Fish Tank. Impact keeping themselves alive here, but still, everything is now in the advantage here of Nightmare Rotation.
And yeah, don't look now, but here comes Dirt again, just charging in on Malga. Oh, look at the, oh, never mind.
Almost getting Javelin off the map right there. Nanokado, though, going to be taken out by Fiddlesticks. Eevee almost knocked off the Terror Surge coming out. Has to win a fight here. Not going to be able to do that. And Nightmare Rotation going to be able to win Eichenwald here. A very dominant style of play here from them as they put themselves on a series point.
No, again, dominant map from Nightmare Rotation. Nothing really surprising me at this point. I don't even know how to really tell you what's going on here. Fiddlesticks is just in the back line popping coalescences like this. That's actually a pretty good fake right there. Just made Promise look completely the other way. That was actually a really nice play there on the Moira. But just generally speaking, it's so random and just atypical that you can't prep for it, so you don't know what to do when it's happening.
Yeah, and even with third swapping over to the Malga there, normally when that happens, you would think like, okay, we can make this swap, and find some sort of opening there. But Nightmare rotation, it didn't necessarily matter if they were down a man or two. They just were consistently going into fights, confident they would be able to at least take one with them and somehow come out on top, even if Dirt was the first one to die there. I mean, we talked about Play-Doh and Fiddlesticks. I mean, my bad, Fish Tank in that first map being able to find so much value, but Fiddlesticks and Chosen really shine this map here, being able to find a lot of kills on their own, playing those supports. So everyone on this Nightmare rotation squad is absolutely terrifying if you give them the time and the space.
No, absolutely. Like the only times Fiddlesticks was dying was off of a spear from Eevee. Otherwise, they were always getting away on that Moira, which I mean, Moira does have like honestly the best escapability of like any support. So like, you know, this is what happens when you give someone who's like really good at the game a hero like Moira. They can just make it look so crazy. Like I always find it like wildly entertaining when really good players get their hands on some of these heroes that you'd be like, oh, they can't do anything crazy on that hero, and then you're just like, oh, never mind, I guess they can.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, we do know that our third map will be Hananoka. However, we are going to be throwing it over to a quick break. So everyone, you're going to want to stick around to see Hananoka here. Does Nightmare rotation complete the sweep, or does Impact start the reverse sweep? You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone, from that halftime break where, I mean, the entire story of this series so far has been Nightmare Rotation. Impact has had some bright moments so far, but Nightmare Rotation has been able to quickly come back and quiet them down here a little bit. I mean, Shadowfang,
Mhm.
as we head into Hanaoka here, what does Impact need to do to slow down Nightmare Rotation and potentially take this map?
I mean, that's a tough question to answer because we haven't really seen it happen to Nightmare Rotation at all. The only thing I can think is you have to somehow stop dying so early to fish tank or play two. Like if you can just stop dying super early to this Junkrat spam and these chokes, that's your only shot really because you're starting to do a better job of dealing with dirt, but in the process you're losing all your other players, your backline, your squishies to play two and fish tank at the exact same time because they're seeing, all right, dirt's a lost cause. Just leave dirt to be attacked by three people, and then we'll go kill the other two.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is, especially on Eichenwald, we did see that the times that Impact were able to win team fights, it was because someone or a couple members of Nightmare Rotation would play very, very aggressively, put themselves in
Yeah.
a situation they could not get themselves out of, and then just kind of die, allowing Impact to, pick off the rest of the team one by one there. But in the moments where we didn't see, Dirt or someone like Fiddlesticks just solo diving into the back line, Nightmare Rotation looked unstoppable.
No, absolutely. And even some of the fights where they did do that, they looked unstoppable too. Our play of the game on the last map was Fiddlesticks just going into the back line on Moira with Coalescence and killing three. Like that's not what's supposed to happen in that scenario, you know? So it's tough to deal with when you're just seeing weird things occur and it's not going the way you would expect it to on the side of Impact. You're like, oh yeah, so if this happens then this person should clearly die immediately, but that's not what happens. You end up dying in the exchange instead, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, Impact has shown us some signs, and Hanaoka and just Clash in general does kind of lend itself to maybe we see something where Nightmare Rotation tries to play a little bit too aggressively. It comes back to bite them, and you see Impact get a point or two and just kind of build that momentum off it. Because Clash is a very momentum-based game. You either
Yeah.
make it to A and E, and it kind of stops right there and starts going the other way. I want to see a team try to complete the map at one of those at the final point, just because it's always fun to see that here. But I mean, I don't know if we're gonna have any subs for Nightmare Rotation. Normally they do bring out a sub or two every map. We didn't see that on Eichenwald. They just kept the same starting five, and I mean, they kind of picked up right where they left off of Busan. Same thing for Impact. They have a couple subs as well, but we didn't see any of them come out. And honestly, heading into what could be our final map of the night, I don't think we're gonna see any subs because unless you're gonna have someone come in and just be a spark plug, they're gonna have to warm up into the map, into the series a little bit. And if you're Impact, you have to hope that warm up time is very, very short.
No, absolutely. If you're Impact, you probably just need to stick with what you've been with the people you've got in at the moment. Like that's probably going to be your best shot, honestly. Like you keep saying, they had good moments. They won first point relatively fast on Eichenwald. They just could not then break the choke of the bridge. And I've never seen people trickle into fights like Nightmare Rotation did underneath that bridge and win it. Like usually it goes the exact opposite way when you just trickle in one by one like that. But because their backline never died, it didn't matter if just one person was back continuously like that. And that's probably going to be key here. I think this first fight in particular is going to be super key. Like if you're Impact, you need to come out. You need to try and deal with the backline of Nightmare Rotation as quickly as you can. Like that's going to be your best chance here.
And it looks like we're kind of seeing, I believe that's going to be Impact right there. And it doesn't look like any subs for either side. So a very rare series, at least for the ones I've seen for Nightmare Rotation, where they don't make any subs. But I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if you're Impact, I mean, Narukato looked incredibly well that last map. Eevee had some struggles, but was slowly starting to get better. But it was just a little bit too late for them here. But we do see the Hog come back out here for Dirt.
Yeah, we got the Hog and we got Moira Lucio. No, we have Moira Lifeweaver. All right. If there was okay, we got Moira Lari. I was gonna say if you had a chance, that would be it. But Moira Lari is exactly what you were running into last map. So again, I think the idea is you have to try and get on this back line as quick as you can if you're Impact.
Eevee just immediately jumps onto the trap right there, but just jumps right over it instead. Play2 though, gotta be able to find Lotus. So there goes, you know, your main support there. Snotty Finger trying to do what they can, but at the moment, I mean, Impact slowly forcing Nightmare Rotation back. But like I said, for a moment, they were forcing them back. It's a team kill for Nightmare Rotation and probably get a result in a point C cap.
Yeah, and I mean, there it is again. The exact same thing that we were saying on the other maps. One of the supports for Impact gets picked out early by Play2 or Fish Tank. Take your pick, whoever it happens to be. And as soon as that happens, the fight is basically over for Impact. But Eevee getting chosen, that could be the opening Impact needs.
And hey, finding Fish Tank as well, that's exactly what you need to go to boot. But you have Fiddlesticks now in the backline where they've been able to, you know, cause a little trouble in the past here. The point's not open yet, so a lot of these members of Nightmare Rotation that have fallen early will be able to get back and try to contest this.
They are certainly going to try to. Fiddlesticks being a little silly on this Moira. Hopefully they can get away here. It looks like they might be able to.
And somehow they're able to, and look, and because of how good Fiddlesticks is kind of disrupting or just distracting Impact, Nightmare Rotation comes right back, able to get the point cap going here, and already about 50% of the way to it. Dynamite coming out there from Play2, not going to be able to find anything else. Play2 has to play behind the bell for a moment, begging one of their supports to get there, but no one's going to be able to find them. They will fall. Fish Tank, though, does find Promise. Deadeye from Nato, but everyone on the side of Nightmare Rotation just hiding behind corners, but Dirt poke their head out a little bit too soon. Gonna be falling there, and now Impact looking to try to get this point cap going. Rally coming out here from Snotty Finger, but the Coalescence from Fiddlesticks gonna be too much for them to handle. Fiddlesticks now gonna have to deal with the Orbital Ray, and they're not gonna deal with it very long right there. It's not Okato finds them out.
And it does look like this is gonna go the way of Impact, so that's what you like to see. But oh no, not Okato.
Oh. And the melee is coming out. Eevee will find Chosen, but I mean, with these picks coming out here very early on for Dirt, oh, get the rebreather right there to keep themselves alive, but have to fall back quickly to their supports.
They are definitely going to have to do just that. Nightmare Rotation going to have 4 ults online. Everything but the Coalescence available to them. I wonder if Fish Tank's going to kill Promise again with this tire. They seem to like to do it a lot when Promise is on the Genji.
Well, Captive Sun out, but I think they got jabbed out of it. It did not come down to earth. Whole Hog, though, out from Dirt, looking for anyone they can. About a quarter of the way, they're on the cap, but no one from Impact died yet, so they can come back in and just recontest this 50% away now for Nightmare Rotation, but the trap will be triggered. They're throwing out another one. Both DPS ultimates out on the field now. Fish Tank. Shadow, I think you cursed Promise right there. Play, we're going to be able to find Snotty Finger, and yet again, Nightmare Rotation capping point C, and gonna be able to keep Dirt alive there as well to boot.
I mean, you know, it keeps happening. I don't know what to say, you know. maybe next time I'll call somebody else to get hit by the fire. Maybe it'll go a different way. We can hope, right? But
I mean, we are casters. We are known to curse from time to time.
Every so often, you know. But even though that point does go the way of Nightmare Rotation, now the ult's advantage is entirely on the side of Impact, and I really want to see them try and get aggressive here before Nightmare Rotation caps this.
Well, speaking of aggressiveness, yeah, there you go. There's the Orbital Ray, the Blade out as well, but immediately Promise has to just dash back. So the Blade probably not going to be able to find a lot here. Does get one swipe there, but Play2 going to be able to find Snotty Finger. So 2 huge ultimates out here for Impact. Here comes a third one of the Deadeye, but ooh, hooked and then shot out of it. The Terror Surge are going to be able to lead to 3 kills there, but still, it looks like Dirt trying to solo cap this on their own, trying to land the hook. They're not going to be able to. Now Eevee pressuring them in their face. Fiddlesticks going to be able to shut down Promise, but Eevee comes right back. And again, Dirt on their own, not going to be able to get themselves out of this one.
No, not going to be able to make it off that point. But it does cost Impact all of those ultimates they had built up. They're still going to have the rally available for next fight. But oh, look at this re-engage maybe.
Not Okato shuts them down, and we're heading back to point C for the 3rd time.
Yeah, we're just back and forth right now, and I think we're going to keep going that way because Nightmare Rotation has all their ults online once again. So it's going to require perfect play from Impact if they want to outdo these ultimates.
I mean, but the big thing that last fight was the fact that Impact came into it with all 5 ultimates ready to go, and really they used all 4 and only found about 2 kills. It was more Nightmare Rotation you know, trying to avoid a lot of them and just put themselves in the bad spots that really led to a lot of those kills. So I guess you could say they worked, but now you put yourself at such a huge disadvantage. Captain Sun going to come out there, land onto the rallying Snotty Finger as Chosen tries to look for that first off. Not going to be able to do it there, but you're seeing kills being traded back and forth. Chosen now completely rotated onto the other side, trying to focus in here on Lotus while the rest of their team is trying to just get rid of Eevee, who, I mean, has been able to stay alive through so much.
And still pretty high HP too, but that Orisa is pretty easy to headshot and will go down very quickly trying to play into these supports. And I mean, again, we haven't said too much about them for a lot of this game, but Chosen and Fiddlesticks, we're consistently seeing Chosen and Fiddlesticks alive at the end of all these fights. So it's going to be tough to try and break through a team if you're not getting rid of the supports first. And now, going on to this point, Nightmare Rotation has that ult advantage again because they didn't really have to do much in that last fight. That was wild.
What the hell? What the hell was that?
I'm pretty sure that was a glitch.
I think it was the hook. I think it was the mine. I think it was the jab spin coming out. What did we just see?
That was something to behold right there. You know, that's something you only see once every, I don't know, a couple of weeks on Overwatch. That was a wild little sequence right there. That's the max range hook in combination with a lot of other things. And now Nightmare Rotation only needs one tick, and they've got the Coalescence and Bob available to them. And Impact has these 4 ults online, and they're probably going to have to use all of them to try and take this.
Promise taken out first here, so the Blade will not be online in the early part of this fight, but Nightmare Rotation only needs to get a tick here. Orbital Ray coming out here from Lotus. Nautocado going to be able to shut down one, but will be shut right back down after that by Dirt, but Dirt looking a little bit worse for wear here. Does have Chosen and that rebreather to keep them up and kicking here, but now you're starting to see Nightmare Rotation actually push Eevee back inside of the initial spawn. Promise though, the Blade going to be able to find one, slicing their way back towards Bob, but yeah, Bob's not one you necessarily try to go into a fight by yourself with, but looks like Impact going to be able to clean up this and cap point A.
Yes, good on them being able to cap that point here, and they managed to maintain their ults for the most part. And really, this should go down to the final point C here. You need to play this next fight pretty well. You have every advantage in the book, probably. The only thing you really want to do is try and force Chosen's ultimate so they don't have it for the point C fight that's upcoming after this point B, right?
Yeah, but we've seen Impact have ultimate economy leads in the past and just kind of squander them. And I mean, this might be one of those moments again where Snotty Finger and Eevee, 2 very pivotal ultimates, out of this one very early on. Nightmare Rotation already looking to cap up. Dirt. Yeah, Deadeye coming out from Nautocado on that opposite angle, not going to be able to find anything as Dirt pulls them in. Captain Sun coming out, Dirt with 2, the rally coming out here from Snotty Finger, but Fiddlesticks going to shut them down, and Nightmare Rotation continues their winning ways here with a 3-0 sweep over Impact.
Yeah, complete dominance from the side of Nightmare Rotation. I mean, at this point, who can stop them, really? Like, it doesn't look like anyone can stop them. They're just kind of steamrolling everybody they play against, and in the silliest of fashions, too, mind you. Like, I don't even know how to describe a lot of what they're doing. It's just a wild and off-the-wall type of plays.
I mean, it's just seeing all these individual players are so good playing the heroes that they really enjoy playing. Probably, you know, we call them a one-trick team, but we definitely know they aren't that at all. They are a very talented team. They just like to play the game differently than anyone else. And like, we've talked to other teams that have lost to them, and they've always just said it's very hard to try to, you know, practice and scrim into Nightmare Rotation because you're not going to be able to find a team that runs the comp as well as Nightmare Rotation do. Hell, you'll be able to find a team that's able to do half as good as Nightmare Rotation is able to do. And I mean, other than the one slip-up they had against BSC Bobcats, again, a lot of people talk about them being the favorite in this entire tier. Nightmare Rotation has now played 15 maps in the regular season and won all 15 of them.
I mean, not to mention the mid-season tournament, they didn't drop a map in either, so it's just no maps being dropped from the side of Nightmare Rotation. I'm sure they're probably at this point just thinking, hey, let's see if we could just not drop a map for the rest of the season in the playoffs, you know?
Yeah, but I believe I heard we're going to have Dirt for an interview, so we're going to throw it to a quick break, get them set up, and then come right back with that interview. So no one, you're not going to want to miss this, so stick around.
Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
All right, welcome back everyone from that short break right there. We are pleased to be joined by the main tank there for Nightmare Rotation of Dirt Dirt. Hey, congratulations on the 3-0 victory. Other than that one matchup you guys have with BSC Bobcats, you guys have won 15 straight maps in the regular season and I believe 9 straight maps in the midseason playoffs as well. You guys are on a little bit of a tear at the moment. Is there any team you think that could stop you?
Nah. I think we could beat any team in the, thingamajiggy in CGL. I don't think we ever had any struggles. I've been practicing my Roadhog slingshots lately, so you guys saw how I, threw that airsoft, man.
I have so many questions about that, but I'll let Shadow ask his.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. What is it that makes you so good with the Roadhog in particular? Because it seems like you're just always catching somebody at max range, like every single fight, and I'm just like, I'm so curious what got you to be that good on that hero.
Oh god, I might be a nerd, but I have like 3,000 hours on Hog, and what I noticed, like every Hog player does the same tech, so I kind of went like the deviant path. I learned that I play on a 3,400 DPI and 8.04 in game, so what I could do is like a spin hook, and the hook goes longer range, and I can make the range like 1 meter to effect, where I can one-shot them. And it's like very consistent too, so it can be played in a professional match, like permanently.
All right, yeah, it's crazy to see honestly because nobody else is playing like that, so it's really entertaining to watch. And so y'all do have one loss on the season, and do you really want to play that team again just to see what you can do against the BSC Bobcats, or what are you thinking about that?
Yeah. I mean, we'll beat them again, or well, they beat us, I guess. We were just like not locked in, I guess. That's the word. Maybe I'm not really sure, but we did kind of play it really bad. That was when we built our team very new. We were trying to figure out who to play, like Harmony and Jung, and Plato wasn't there for like 3 weeks, so yeah. But now we're better, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm hyped to go against them again.
Yeah, so one more question. I mean, you talked about some of your other players here. Nightmare Rotation is an incredibly deep and stacked team here, but Plato, Fish Tank, Chosen, and Fiddlesticks tonight, it seemed like no matter what, especially on Eichenwald, you guys were just kind of winging it, going into solo engagements, kind of playing what I would call a little bit dumb, but you guys are always finding value there. Who is the one person, not counting you, besides you, who you think could win a fight on their own against the entirety of the enemy team?
Oh God, I guess I'll give something to my team. Yeah, it might be. I'll give it to Aquamarine. You know, he's a really nice guy. He's good at Junkrat or something. He knows some text.
All right. But hey, Dirt, thank you so much for doing this. But before we let you go, we'll give you the floor to shout out anything you want right now, man.
I guess I'll shout out my team. Thanks, team, for supporting me or something on the back line or whatever it's called. And myself, too. God, I'm so handsome. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for taking some time out of your night to do this interview. We will let you go and go celebrate with your team. Man, again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that was Dirt from Nightmare Rotation. And I mean, Shadow, Nightmare Rotation is a great team. We already know that. But BSC Bobcats, the one team they have lost to, is definitely one matchup that we are going to want to watch out for. But Dirt, I mean, you could tell that he is oozing confidence in more than one way with himself and his team.
No, absolutely. You can definitely see how they play the way that they do. Like even the way he's giving answers, it's just so silly. I'm like, oh yeah, this has got to be this right here is the exact vibe of the team right here. This is how everybody on that team is. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and like we said, an incredibly deep team, a big roster. I think, you know, about as the most or the max you could have of 11. And even though we asked, you know, like, of the people that played, who would you think could win a team fight on their own? They actually, I think, shouted out Aquamarine, who did not play tonight, or might be playing under the name Fish Tank. I think that was Fish Tank.
Yeah, they Dirt did mention really good at Junkrat, so I was like, that's probably what that means. I'm guessing.
Yeah. But again, I mean, Nightmare Rotation right now, like Dirt kind of said, that one matchup against BSC Bobcats did come in week 1. Or no, my bad, week 4. So it had been a couple weeks playing it, but you could still very much tell they were trying to get used to each other. And that mid-season tournament really seemed to be a turning point for this team, where all the pieces kind of fit together. Everyone's kind of, you know, hitting their strides at the right moment.
Mhm.
And they might be one of the scariest teams here in the back half of the season, especially heading into our end of season playoffs, which I definitely believe with this win here tonight and the extra win they got from winning the mid-season tournament, they have securely locked themselves into the playoffs.
No, most definitely they're going to be in. They should already have a playoff spot locked up after that, and they've got to be the favorites going in as well because again, they haven't dropped a map just to the BSC Bobcats, but otherwise they have not dropped any maps whatsoever the rest of the season. So we haven't even seen them be challenged to drop a map, let alone dropping one. So like, I'm gonna have to see it happen before I actually believe somebody's gonna take a map off of this team the rest of the way.
Yeah, and before we sign off for the night, yeah, I mean, Impact is still a very, very incredibly good team. I mean, they came into this matchup, same thing like Nightmare Rotation, outside of their loss to BSC Bobcats, had not yet dropped the map as well, outside of that one loss and the midseason tournament where they did go up against the same Nightmare Rotation team. Impact is going to be one of those teams that when we get into the end of season playoffs should be there. And I do believe they're going to be able to make some noise now going up against probably the two best teams in this tier, a combined 3 times.
No, most definitely. You're gonna have plenty of games that you can look back on. You know, all the codes get posted. You've played them yourself now a few times. You've had it streamed. You got several different ways you can go back and watch this and just try and figure something out. See if you can find some sort of, shining light in the darkness, if you will, of all these map losses. Just try and find some positive to try and take from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to be able to do that and a lot more here. But for us tonight, that will pretty much do it. We still do have a lot more action to come up this weekend here at CGL, especially tomorrow with both EU and NA. SNO, you are not going to want to miss that. And some incredible matchups we have. Like I said, not going to want to miss that. But that will do it for us here tonight. Shadow, I want to thank you so much for being my co-caster here tonight. You were amazing. As always, I want to give a quick shout out to Echo and Headrammer behind the scenes for doing everything so that this stream was possible. But that will do it for us here at CGL tonight. Thank you so much for coming out, and make sure you tune in to Saturday Night Overwatch tomorrow. And until then, hope you have a good night and see you tomorrow.